We see worldwide a lot of soccer trainers doing stability training. If we ask why they do this, is it because they want to strengthen the trunk and to be stronger in duel? Others call it injury prevention. If we ask why they get the exercises, then they mention FIFA 11 Plus. So this is something you can search on the internet, or sometimes you can see it on posters hanging at the soccer clubs. If we look and watch to the exercises, we see two big exercises divided in three pieces. I invited my colleague Willem to demonstrate, to be the victim today, and to demonstrate the three exercises, and we're going to show you how you can add a lot of things. Okay, if we go to the first exercise, it's already in a good position. We see that supported on the elbows and on the top of the toes. Now, if you want to make it more easy, because it's difficult because of gravity, you can just support on the knees. And now we're going to lift the trunk and make a kind of bench. FIFA 11 calls it a bench exercise, and then you have to hold it for 20 seconds. Thank you, Willem. So this is kind of static exercise. We're going to mention more about this later, about the static and dynamic movements. The second exercise, we're going to do the same thing. Make the bench first and then raise one leg and change each time. Okay? And then you raise one leg and you change each time. Okay. Okay, good. Now we're going to go to the third exercise, where we're going to go to a static exercise again. So first lift the pelvic. Lift one leg and hold it, and they also, again, they ask to hold it for 20 or 30 seconds. Thank you. So we're working mainly in the what we call secondal plane, so forward backward movement, but we will see that in playing soccer we're going to go more into the transverse plane and the frontal plane, so making sideways movements. So what can we do about these three exercises? What can we add? So we prefer to go more dynamic, so we're going to quit and we're going to change the two static exercises. I'm going to make it more dynamic into the three planes. So first of all, I'm going to ask Willem to lift his pelvic again, and first go into the what we call secondal plane, go down and up again. Okay, good. So each time when you go down, you will lengthen the muscle, you will stimulate the proprioceptors. Now we go into the frontal plane, so we make side movements, and then we go into the transverse plane. So rotating the pelvic. Okay, and down again. Now we go to the second exercises that we can see and can find on FIFA 11 Plus. So we go to the side, and they call it sideways bridge. Again, we see three exercises. First, there are two static and one dynamic, and we prefer the dynamic again. So first we're going to do the static. So you raise the pelvic. Again, this is even more difficult, so you can support the knees if you want, and hold again for 20-30 seconds, and down. Now we're going to go to the more dynamic, where you're going to lift his leg. Yeah, try to show it, Willem. You lift one leg, and back. So this is more dynamic. We prefer more of the dynamic movements. And down again. And the last one is same position, but now we're going to hold the leg like, yeah. Okay, good. You raise and hold it for 20-30 seconds. Pretty difficult. And stop. So we told before that it's better to make it more dynamic. So we're going to tweak those things a little bit. So I'm going to ask just to raise his pelvic and go into the three planes of motion. So first you raise and you go forward and back. You go down and up. And you rotate. Okay, and stop. Good. Now if you see where his feet are, we can also divide them forward, back. So I'm going to ask you, yeah, and do the same thing. Up. Because if we are playing soccer, we are running, and most of the time the feet are more like this. And stop. Now we can add something. We can ask to move the leg from the back to forward. Okay. And stop. Okay. Now we're going to ask to move the legs and the pelvic at the same time. So each time his pelvic is lower, when his left leg is behind, and when he put it forward, he's going to raise his pelvic. Yeah, and down, and up, down, and up, and stop. Why do we do it like this? Because it smells more like running. It's more like running, where if my right leg is in front of me, then I have a deduction in the hip. When the left leg crosses, we're going to have a abduction in the hip. So we're going to go more into the running principles. And what is more important if you want to go further in this is to make analysis of the movements we make in soccer. And this is also why we not prefer to do exercises in prone position or in sideline positions, but more standing. So this is another progression we can make, is go from lying to upright position. Okay, I wish you good luck with those exercises.